Hey, man.
What's up, man?
You can hear me, right? Because I can't hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
But hey, I guess if everybody can hear me, I'll have to log back out and come back in. Welcome to Clocks Running, the podcast, everything flag football officials. I'm your host, Jacob.
And I'm Ant.
He said, I'm
Jacob.
Ant. Okay, I'm going to log out real quick and log back in. I saved you from the intro. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So Jacob dropped the intro for us. We got a great show planned tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Jacob. I'm Ant. We are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and then of course we are recording here on StreamYard. So please hit that share button, hit that follow button. Let's get the viewers up. Hit those questions. We have two amazing guests tonight. So let's go ahead and without further ado, bring on the first one. All the way from Philly or Delaware or something. What up, Trav?
Don't do that, man. You know I'm from Philly. There he is.
Headphones died.
Oh,
That's why I couldn't hear anything.
There you go. Oh man. Okay. All right.
Trav,
So
what's up, man?
what's the deal? What you say, Ant?
man. Oh, okay. So you from Philly? My fault. First apology of the show. You from Philly, but you
You
stay
know
in
Ant don't
Delaware,
like
right?
that. Say it again.
Okay. I say but you stay in Delaware though, right?
Yeah, I'm actually from right outside of Philadelphia, like 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, I live down in Delaware now. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know how all that works. I know people get real upset about, marking territory in Philadelphia and everything. You can explain that to us later. But first and foremost, when we have a new guest on, we want to give you the opportunity to kind of share your origin story, your superhero story, what got you involved in the flag football world. So, Trav, the floor is yours, man.
Don't call him a
Um,
dog next time, marking his territory. Go ahead, Trav. I'm sorry.
that's your boy, Ant. That's your boy. Or Jacob. That's your boy.
Oh,
So I started playing flag football probably, man, I'm an old man, so I'm 41. I started playing probably back in about '05 is when I started playing. And we played in Delaware, you know, uh, over and over, our little 7-man style. So that's all we had. Play 7-man style. Then I'd say probably around about 2012, 2013, maybe like 2010, we started, coming down and getting guys together, put money together and travel down to Florida. Came down and then we started learning the Florida style of 7-man, and it was different. You know what I mean? We up here, we do a 5-man, 5-yard rush, 5 to 7 yards, I think it is. We're down to Florida style. You're right on the line of scrimmage. And that was a big difference for us. But, we started trying to kind of move around. And of course, that's really when flag really became like a big deal all around the nation, people traveling, doing tournaments. And I feel like guys our age are really, we were like the catalyst for flag really traveling all around the nation and becoming really what it is. So that's why I kind of love that flag football versus NFL argument I take to it. Anyway, coming up to I'd say about 2017, 2018, we were still playing. Matter of fact, the tournament was in Sarasota that year. And I got a drone and I put it up in the air because we were just saying, hey, we need a way to start recording ourselves while we're on the field. These were my last years. I wanted to see, how I looked on film. So we got a drone and put it up in the air. And then shortly after that, I was done. And then I just started kind of flying locally. And then in flying locally, it grew, kept flying locally for free, doing stuff. I really liked it. 2 years ago, went into business, came down there with you guys for Tampa, which was last year. And here we are. Long story short.
Yeah, and I know us old bulls, we got history like that. We got a lot we got to explain when we talk about it. So I understand, man. I appreciate you, giving us that history. What's up, Jacob? What's the
Jacob,
deal?
what's that face for, buddy?
nothing, man. Nothing. I'm just along for the ride with the old bulls. Apparently.
Oh, bull.
Yeah, we just a couple old bulls, man. You know what I mean? I feel it, bro. I understand completely. Hey,
Marking territory. Now we're bulls. How many times is he going to use John in this episode?
It's
The
coming.
list,
hey,
it's
yeah.
on the
Well,
cusp.
nah, man, it's got to be natural. You know what I mean? Like you can't just throw words out there if you don't understand them, Jacob.
You
I
don't
know in North
understand
Carolina.
it.
I Hey, so Trav, I appreciate you sharing all that. So as far as like going from that local league to national, you said it was an adjustment. Do you still feel like Philly is kind of, behind the cusp? Are they still lagging as far as being able to compete nationally?
No, I feel like the talent's here. I think the big problem is getting, I guess, everybody in this area together to play, some of the most prominent styles and, from what's going on, I guess, down in Florida. I think, Ed does a good job of really getting guys together and running some tournaments here and there. But, you know, I guess it's tough to get all of the cream of the crop from this area really into one tournament to get everybody to kind of play and then to do it continually. So, and the guys and the teams in this area can continue to grow and really get better and actually, make a name for ourselves up here in this area. Whereas though you got guys down there in Florida, over in Texas, of course, because flag is 5-man. That's what flag is nowadays.
Yeah,
I agree.
What do you think it is? You think it's egos that kind of keeps people from being able to stick together as a team and travel?
In today's day and age, I don't know exactly what it is. I think I know when I was coming up, what kind of kept people was, funds. Everybody didn't have it. You always had to have one. And I know that still goes on. You got to have one guy that kind of puts up the majority of the money to do this, to kind of get everybody out there. And after a while, you get a good team, but he just gets tired of it. He's sick of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, man, forget this. You know what I'm saying? If you guys don't want to come up with money, but you want to show up for every game and tournament, I'm not dealing with that. So I think funds is a big part of it. Sometimes you get ego, and now with social media, it's like everybody wants to kind of shine. Everybody's trying to make the pro team, And if you go to a team where it's full of ballers, you may not stand out as much. So I notice a lot of guys trying to kind of get to somewhere where they can still play and compete, but really stand out to kind of get that look. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was the dude that everyone called Unk on my team. I was the old bull. I was I was fronting the bill. I was doing all of that. But it's hard because you gotta decide sometimes. Am I gonna have like the guys I came up with, the guys that I've been playing with, that I know they can all pay, or do I want some talent that I'm probably gonna have to pay for that talent? You think that's kind of the case in some of these situations?
I mean, we see it going on right now. We've been seeing it, you know what I mean? And I'd be very honest, you know what? I'd do it myself if I could,
Yeah.
Well, if you got $2 an opportunity, you're golden, Trav. Come on, man.
Listen. It really what it's kind of coming down to is it's really great marketing, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I think about it, really from let's say some of these, maybe a YTG. Who's the other guy? There's another guy that's down there. I think that's kind of taking that over. I think he's kind of sponsoring, maybe taking care of the team and bringing some of those guys in. So I hear. I don't get all the news and everything that's going on, but I mean, for me and my brand and trying to grow and do the things that I'd like to do, if I really could, I'd go out and get the best guys, fly them all around the country, and sponsor teams as well. Mm-hmm. And now how much is 5-man? Isn't it like 20 grand or something that you win? 5 grand or what? I don't know. I was
gonna say it was 5 grand this past year. I don't.
Okay.
Not sure if it's gone up or not.
Yeah, you string together enough cash tourneys though, you can start to pay for stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll pay for itself. You get good enough players.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I got to take that plunge, right?
Yep. Yeah. Some of those young bulls.
Young bulls. Look, I get them young bulls. But see, that's the thing I don't want, right? I can't get a bunch of young bulls that want to come out, be knuckleheads, smoke weed under the tent. You know what I mean? I can't deal with that. I can't. I'm 41 years old now. I can't do it anymore. Drink, what I'm saying? Want to be aggressive and all that. I need them old heads. Yeah. I need them old head bulls.
Yeah, you can't take them to Vegas. You know what I mean? They ain't gonna make it on Saturday morning.
Yeah. You better play on Friday.
Where
you at? Speaking of taking your team to Florida this past year, there was high expectations in the 35 plus. What happened, bro? You guys really just let everybody down.
I had no idea there was high expectations. I had no idea. All right, but I'm gonna tell you what really happened. What really happened is you got the pro teams are 35 and up now. That's what happened. Ronin and Rubicons smoked us.
That's
If they
true.
weren't in there, we might have had a shot. We maybe make second round of playoff. They smoked us, and it was bad. And so here's the deal. So this is kind of like what I was saying earlier. We don't really do a whole lot of 5-man. So this is just me. As you saw, it's me and a couple of my guys, right? We used to be really good at what we did up here, which was 7-man. We never play 5-man. We come down to Florida. We just jump in a couple styles. We hang out. We play football for a day, and then that's it. You know, so really we come down for a good time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you just think that, you know, hey, this is all we got left. It's 35 and up. Whatever it is that we got left, we should be able to compete. Well, we were wrong. We were wrong. That's what happened. So that's why if you see, I think Chuck put up a post. I'm petitioning for 40 and up. You got to get them guys out of here.
Hey, they had 45 and up this past year. If you quit screaming how old you are and just play.
Nah, man. You know, guys like Pat Alley are going to be roster checking in that situation.
That's because he's 75 years old.
I wouldn't mess that up. I try to play fair. I try to play by the rules, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that guy, you know, and, you know, my name and my brand and my credibility gets messed up. So I do want to play by the rules.
Oh, no, I completely get you. I'm just messing around. But
I know some people don't care. Though. You see it all day long.
Yeah, I heard in Vegas there was some misinterpretation of the rules that you could have somebody under 35, one player under 35.
That was the rumor on the street. We kind of had to mix that one.
I'll be honest. I thought the same thing. I definitely asked Natalie about that.
I don't know where that came from.
For Worlds, I sure did. Yes, I did.
Wow.
But I thought that was a thing from like years ago.
I'd have to go back. I've got an old USFTL rule book. I'd have to go back and look just to see. But that'd be something else, man.
Yeah.
One young guy just shredding all the old dudes.
Just cooking.
Yeah, and that's what happened in Vegas, right? TD was playing with the team, and all of a sudden he was like, "Well, I'm 34."
He sure did come out and say,
"Dude, way to just dry snitch." Good lord,
he really did, man. No, he did.
Hey, I'm allowed to do that because he still hasn't come on our show yet. So you know what I mean?
Too true.
Hey, so go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's your show.
No, bro.
Go ahead.
Come on, man. This is a bad John, bro. This is a bad John.
Bad John. Now let the ball Jacob. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. Go ahead, young bull. Go ahead.
No, that's what we're doing. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Whatever you're gonna say. Go ahead.
I was completely changing the subject. I was going to talk about.
So was I, but go ahead. You got a pack. I'm following.
All right. I just wanted to talk about the differences between East and West Coast. Everybody talks about how in the East Coast, we've been playing 7s, contact, 9-man, all this stuff. And then now the West Coast, they starting to build up. You brought up a great team out of the West Coast, Runnin. They've strung together some really big wins in national tournaments, beating YTG in Tampa. So how do you feel about that? Are things shifting to the West Coast? Is it more of Texas, Florida, and everybody else? Where do you feel like it is geographically as far as flag football goes?
So I do probably still feel like, it's Texas, Florida. West Coast kind of coming up onto the map. They just had the Select Bowl, so you have a lot of high profile things going on the West Coast, which really going to kind of, I guess, get the West Coast really kind of going. But Craig has been a big deal over here on the East Coast, running his tournaments for years. Ed has been out here and doing things in Philly for a while. I don't want to forget my guy. If you guys don't know my guy up in New Jersey, Isaac, you call him IP, GVOC League. He's doing a lot of things and kind of getting those guys going. But now here's the big thing on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? Because you got a bunch of us that play flag, but then you got all in New York, you know what I mean, up there in the city where those guys still playing touch, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I can't stand touch. I can't stand it, but I mean, I guess as far as East Coast to West Coast, I mean, I don't know or hear much about West Coast teams too much, other than just just Ronin. There was actually, you know what? No, Showtime. I met Showtime over there in Vegas. Not the West Coast is pretty big, so Arizona is a big deal. New Dynasty.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, New Dynasty.
Curry Bombers.
Evans. Who?
Curry Bombers.
Ant's favorite team, Curry Bombers.
Curry Bomb. Yeah. They are. No, they wear some teams out. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Utah Thundercats. Come on, man.
Yep.
They are crazy. Yo, they're crazy. Yeah, no, I'm serious. They really should have beat. They were pretty close to beating. What team was that?
Football and finance.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They have a great scheme. Some of their route combinations and the things that they're running to get those guys open it's beautiful if I put it on tape. I was just looking at that game the other day. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they got chemistry. They play. It's called like Utah Flag Football League, I think, and they have not lost a league championship in that league for like 10 years. Like it's crazy.
They're that good. They are very crispy.
Yeah.
I've never seen them before. This was the first tournament I've seen them at.
Yeah, those guys are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know what's crazy, Travis? My dad actually had he had a big hand in helping get touch football started in Long Island. And it got it. I mean, we're talking about the '60s. And it was like they got it moved to Hofstra. That's where they were having their championship games, and it was like a big deal back then. So it's crazy that touch is still around that many years later, bro.
And it's anchored too. Like right there in New York, it is anchored down. They love touch football, and you better not come up there talking about no flag.
Yeah, you're right. It's wild to talk to those dudes and just to see like what they do. They are in their own world. They don't care about travel and they don't care about all the they have. It's right there. That's all they want.
That's all they. And it's funny because it kind of reminds me of us in our argument with flag versus these NFL guys. Because I'll definitely poke that bear, and they all think that we're like delusional. Oh, you guys are playing flag,
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yep. I don't see touch in the Olympics, but what do we?
Hello.
Jacob, you had some questions, man.
So
what do you got?
Yeah, so Trav, when you started drone flying, and what was the breaking point for you that just said, like, the light bulb that went off that said, this is what I want to do for flag, this is what I want to be a part of? What was that moment that just made you just say, we really need this, and I can really bring something to the sport nationally?
So it had to be when I came back from Sarasota. So I looked at some of that film, and I had a specific drone. It was an old one. In case anybody's listening, it was a GoPro Karma, one of the first drones that came out, and I had it, and it was decent. But I quickly switched over to the leading brand right now, DJI, and that was when they had the Mavic 1 came out. I switched over, and I think the turning point for me was after I came home from Sarasota and I did some of the local games, and then I started actually using a controller and everything and looking at the film. Once I looked at the film and I was able to see the image that it was able to provide, how I was able to get the whole field, capture everything in the entire play, I think that's what sold me. That was it.
I got you. Was there any? What's the highest profile game or thing you've been a part of to be able to film?
Probably that last game in Worlds with Shrooms and YTG. I mean, you had CBS there. I think that might be the biggest game for anybody, in flag. I don't know if there's been any bigger games than that, just being on I guess IFAF, but
yeah.
Locally
over the World Games that Mexico won a couple years ago was pretty big. I don't know if you remember that. Mexico beat the US in the World Games.
What does that have to do with Trav flying? This is about Trav. This is not about you.
He's trying to get me to argue.
Hey,
no, he's definitely trying to. He's definitely trying
to. Jacob, you have any other questions about Trav's?
No, those were my two big points, man. Because I mean, just it's really cool to see. I have folks all the time, like and I'm sure you guys do as well, that ask me, like, in my personal life, like when they start to ask about flag and the different aspects of what people bring to the table, it's so cool to see, like, Trav, what you're doing, not a lot of people, do, and especially as specific, I'm sure you do other things as well, but to be a part of flag with drone flying and getting the footage you get, and like us with the podcast, there's specific things that we do. It's just a really cool thing to think about, and how all of these different aspects of life are all connected.
So let me ask you guys. I mean, what are your thoughts on the drone footage? How does it look on your end? What do you guys think about it, opposed to maybe any other footage that's out there?
I'll say for me, it's a mixed bag, because we have guys like you that get us fantastic footage. You, Nat. I'm not gonna lie, that's the only people that are coming to mind immediately for me. But that do a great job, get great footage, can make something really cool with the drone footage that you get. Then we have some folks out there who look like they just got something off of Temu, and we're with that. I'm 100% a person who believes in the fact that you get what you pay for the good or for the bad.
For sure.
So if it's high quality, it is proven that it's high quality, I'm all for it.
Right.
Yeah, the split screen videos that you put together. I mean, like a perfect example is that new Dynasty one, where you were able to highlight not only what the linemen were doing, blocking, but what Ant was doing as QB. I mean, it just, that's amazing to me. That blew me away. But I agree with Jacob. I've definitely seen some grainy, terrible looking drone footage. I've been hit by a drone while I'm repping on the field.
We all appreciate that. Oh, I mean, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
You got a haircut?
And I don't got a lot, man. You know what I mean? Like,
gave him a number one.
Yes, right.
Yeah, don't mess up my number two. No, for sure. So I do have one last thing to bring up with you, Trav. I think you hinted at it a little bit. I've seen you post things about it. I don't know if you heard, you brought up about the Select Bowl. Well, the adult men's and women's teams were playing this last weekend in international play, and the Canadian men's team beat the United States, and it was talked about on ESPN Monday morning. Did you catch that little clip?
No, I didn't catch that. To be very honest with you, I didn't even know this stuff comes to me. I don't know how I missed some of the stuff. I'm really not in the know, and I don't find anything out until later. All right, so I don't even know who was on the Select Bowl teams. I know it was a couple people that randomly just went at the last minute. But what I will say is those Canadians ain't no joke.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say, because I've seen a couple of them play. The girls team down at Worlds, nasty.
They won.
They're nasty. You know what I mean? But and I have a couple teams that like to book me out of Canada. Shout out to what is it, Vance City? Yeah,
Van City, yeah.
Vice, yep.
You know what I mean? And my boy up there, he got engaged, matter of fact, at Worlds. But I mean, I know those Canadian teams, they do play, and they come into the States, they travel into the States, and they play amongst us and with us all the time. So
yeah,
Yeah,
so it was the U.S. national team and the Canadian national team. It was the players that will be competing internationally. They'll be going to Panama later on this year to compete. So and Canada won 25-21. It was a close game. I saw a few clips. But anyway, so it got brought up in the ESPN. What's the name of that show?
The Pat McAfee Show.
Pat McAfee, and he's gonna make fun, and right away though, where did he go? Hey, we can't be losing to Canada in international play. So, how do you feel like coming off of a loss internationally? Does this change your thoughts on whether or not the NFL players? Does this open the door for them now?
Heck no. Heck no.
My man.
So here's what I'm going to say, and I think Chuck said it the best, right? What Chuck said is off the street, and I think that's what it's going to come down to with NFL players. They're not going to really have the time to come in and prep and learn this game. They're going to be literally off the street, and you can give them 2 months or 3 months. That's off the street. So I still think that the guys that we have, with NFL players mix in. I think receiver is an interchangeable position, right? But I think when you look at like quarterback and some of the things that a quarterback is going to need to play flag versus in the NFL, we need a flag quarterback, right? You need Hoosh, you need a Mark, you need somebody like that understands how to kind of evade the rush, design plays to get guys open quickly and get rid of the ball. You can get Chase, Tyreek, all those guys in here. I think they'll do fine, right? Even with DBs, I think they'll do fine, but I think there's still areas where DBs will struggle. Once Mark or Trush and these guys start running some of these bunch formations, maybe that they run. Now, I don't know all the rules, but once they start to run some of these formations, sorry about that.
I saw a phantom door.
Get out, please. Let me finish. Wait a minute. Sorry about that.
You're all good, bro. You're all good. Hey, we got families too, man. We get it.
Yeah.
But I think like when it comes to bunch formations, that was something that I have been highlighting a lot. You know what I mean? Doing some of those play-by-plays. The bunch formation is hard. I don't care if you're Darrell Revis, right? I don't care if you're Sauce. I don't care if you're Quinyon Mitchell, the best corner in the league. Let me say, right? It doesn't matter who you are. I think that's still tough to defend. If you get a bunch formation, that guy on widest to the right goes underneath everybody and goes right across the line to the left, and they're in a man coverage, I think it's tough. Because some people think, oh, we're going to get all corners out here and we're just going to play a man coverage. Well, it's not that simple, And I think that Chad Johnson said this best. He said there's different tricks and nuances to this game. It's not that easy. And, I've talked to DRC just to kind of get his take on it. He kind of agrees that, it's not just as simple as people think it's going to be. So that's my take. I'm still going USA flag guys over the NFL guys. You bring the NFL guys, let them come in and mix and play to be the best. I do think that the guys that we have here have built this game. So, yeah, I see why Hoosh is upset. Why are we just going right to the NFL guys like they built this game? They didn't. Hey, come in, compete like everybody else. But let's not let the media go to the NFL guys like, hey, they're automatically going to be the ones coming in here to compete for the Olympics, right? It is the guys that are already out here still playing that have really built and helped this game to get where it's at. That's my take.
Yeah. Do you think that there's any relatability to how it is with basketball? I mean, LeBron James, as of a few days ago, was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to play in the Olympics. And he has the ability to decide without any tryout if he wants to play or not in 2028. Do you think it's going to be the same way with NFL guys?
So I think when you look at basketball, I think basketball, whether it be street ball or whether it be NFL ball, there's still a lot of similarities that are still there. And it's easy for an NFL player to transition over into street, whatever it might be, because there's still some things that he knows that he's going to be able to take from the NBA and translate right into street ball and still dominate. Whereas though in flag, I think you have some aspects of that, but the game as a whole, I think it's played a little bit differently, and there's things that happen differently, especially in 5-man. Some of the techniques that you use, you're not able to use that in flag football that you use in the NFL. So I don't think it's the same. I think it's different.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jacob, any other questions for Trav before we go?
I got nothing, man. I just appreciate you coming on. This is overdue,
yeah,
my
man.
friend.
And I just want to give you the chance to defend your terrible cheesesteak that we experienced in Philadelphia real quick.
I told you where to go. Let the smallest guy in the city make the decision. I cannot put that video together. We destroyed that place. I can't.
I
think you do.
It's halfway together, though. It's halfway together.
Then, look, if we're halfway
he's a mobster,
there,
bro.
I don't care, man. He's not.
He's not going to come and get you. I live down
the street. Yeah, right. He's not going to come down here for the banjos for me.
I'm going to put your piece up, and I'm going to let you say everything. No, you were real nice on the video.
I was really nice. I didn't think it was that bad. You two hated Ed, after he ordered off the kids menu, was in love.
He even said the mozzarella sticks. He said, these mozzarella sticks.
You know why? Because you tried to eat barbecue sauce with them.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no.
Bro, where's the origin of that? How do you put barbecue sauce on your pasta?
No, I'll tell you where the origin is. I think what it is just as a young kid, you get mozzarella sticks and chicken fingers. Of course, you dipping your chicken fingers in the barbecue and then the mozzarella, boom. Next thing, it was a thing. I've been doing it forever.
So we're saying the mozzarella with the barbecue sauce is a happy accident.
I mean, as a kid, maybe I didn't know any better, but now I know that that's the way that it's supposed to be as an adult.
Oh, wait, well,
I know it.
Hold on. We're not going to say that it's supposed to be that way.
Yes, it's supposed to be that way.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, last
hold
one.
on.
Trav. Pineapple on pizza. Does it belong?
No.
Thank God.
Okay. All right.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, Trav,
Somebody
just,
called you a serial killer.
Who?
Ernie Bailey 73. Low key might be a serial killer. And I don't disagree. But hey man, I'm just glad that we're pals so I don't end up on that list.
It's just tendencies, serial killer tendencies.
Wow.
Oh man! All right, Trav. Well, just before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to just plug your business and everything you're doing and where you're going to be next, man.
Appreciate that, man. Above the games, drones, we do content creation, food reviews, just because I know how to do videos, I think, that, it's pretty wide open for me to do whatever it is I'm able to create or whatever I have time for. But don't have any plans to be anywhere coming up soon. Just taking a lot of local calls, taking care of my guys up in New Jersey, do some of Ed's tournaments I think he's got coming up, the Night Fest coming up. But we're filling up, man. We definitely are filling up. We just did some arena football. These guys want to get locked in. So
Nice.
There's a lot going on, man. Just hoping I can hit it big one day. You know what I mean? That's it. So sticking to it, grinding, and yeah, man, that's it for me.
There you go, man. That's a good job, bro. I appreciate you coming.
Oh, gosh, Trav, I'm sorry, bro.
Don't be sorry. He's Phillyized, man. He done been here. He wants to be an Eagle.
One time, and now all of a sudden, he eats a bad cheesesteak and says John every other word. And now he's
That's how it works.
It's all good. It's all
good. All right, bro. Well, we'll see you soon, man. Good having you on.
All right, fellas. Later.
Yeah, man, that's a good job, bro. I know how to use it. God. Hey, man. Well, let's just keep it rolling because I can tell you're really stressed out tonight about the show.
To the max.
Our last guest was sponsored by Tacky Bar. Go ahead, plug it, man.
You can't force stuff like that. Talking about forcing stuff. If you have a good prep football, there's no way that you have to ever force a pass. It just flows right off your hand. Check out my guy, Tacky Bar. Kevin McDonald gets you right. He's taking care of NFL teams, college teams. He's all over the place with this stuff. Check it out, Tacky Bar.
There we go. Cool. Now bringing on our next guest. We got Kelli here. Let's see. There we go. How's it going?
Up, guys?
What's going on?
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Yep, we got you.
Perfect. All right. I'm like the one ear. I'm like, am I yelling?
I'm the same way.
I know.
Otherwise, I will start yelling and Ant gets emotional. So.
Well, Kelli, we appreciate you coming on. First and foremost, as a new guest, we want to just give you the chance to kind of share your origin story, what got you into the flag football world, and where you are today.
Gosh, where did it start? No, I actually started playing first. I wasn't doing any kind of media or anything first. And how it started, actually, I was living in El Paso. My friend said, "Hey, I'm playing in the flag game, 8:00 in the morning. If you want to come watch." I was like, all right, woke up, went to this game, and they were actually playing Linnea Bryant's team. And Linnea and Ariel used to play on the same team in El Paso, and they were playing them. And that team did not have enough to play. And so Linnea was like, I did not wake up at 8 a.m. to not play a game. And she's like, looking at me, she's like, you look like athletic, so go play for them. And I was like, no cleats, nothing. Thankfully, I had pants that had zip-up pockets, so didn't have to worry about that or anything like that. But I can't tell you how many flag guard penalties I got the first time I played flag. So that's kind of how I started playing flag. And then origin of like media story, I guess, in a sense, was I always liked the camera. I was always making videos with my siblings growing up, taking pictures and things like that. I kind of came from a place like we didn't have a whole lot of money, so I would not have asked for a camera or anything like that by any means. So kind of working to where I'm at, I was like, you know what? I think I want to buy a camera. So I kind of just I always tell people if you want to, you have the will, the want, the desire, do it. I started small. I got like a little Canon Rebel, which lasted like maybe a month or so. But I was actually at my church and I was asking somebody, hey, I want to learn how to shoot like with manual settings, not automatic. And they were like, oh, that's so great. We actually needed new photographers. And I was like, I was not saying I wanted to do that. I was just wanting to learn. So I got thrown in the fire there. And so many of the things that I have learned have come from there. But it's been great that I played flag before shooting flag, because I've worked with a lot of people that are like, this is my first time shooting flag. Like, I don't know where to put the camera. Like, there's so much going on. And I feel very calm whenever I'm shooting flag just because I usually now every once in a while they get me, right? But I kind of usually know where the play's going, kind of which players to kind of focus on and things like that. So that's a little bit of my origin story.
Yeah, there we go. Speaking of having no cleats, I have seen a pair of cleats that you have. I don't know if you still rock them, but they're my favorite. My favorite cleats that are worn on the field. They got Nipsey on them,
Nipsey
right?
and Kobe. They got Nipsey and Kobe. They got Nipsey and Kobe backing
Yeah.
up.
That's cool.
Yeah, my girl Paris, she actually plays for the Drip in Phoenix. She Half and Half Creation. Shout out to them. She I mean, it was the first idea that kind of came to mind when all that happened, and I was like, I want some customs, and I had seen some of her stuff, and she made it come to life. And every time I go to the West Coast to play, I always wear them, and somebody always says something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely an important part of my life. I lived in Crenshaw for a few years, and
Yeah.
just being able to see those on cleats means a lot to me for sure. So that's really cool. What as far as just kind of recently, what has been like the most exciting games or tournaments that you've been a part of?
Oh man, I just was in LA for Select Bowl, the friendlies, international. There was so much talent out there, and I don't mean just the adults, the youth. Oh my gosh. I mean, there was a couple game winners, some walk-offs that was just last play of the game that was insane. I'm like, I don't even think I could do that myself. So I would say definitely that was probably the most exciting one that I have been a part of as of recent. Now, anything that is USA football for me, whether it be trials or training camp, always holds a special place in my heart. I've got a lot of really good friends on the women's team. My best guy friend Jay High is on the men's team, so I mean, it kind of just holds a special place in my heart because I get to be there for them in a different way, right? And kind of get to tell the story for them. So those always hold special places in my heart for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you stay in Texas, right?
I do. San Antonio, 210.
Okay. So is Texas? Some people say that Texas is kind of the has-beens of flag football. Is Texas still dominant in flag football?
Has been.
Oh my
What?
God.
You have okay, all right. You
He's got a
have
big spoon out today.
he's saying,
I
I mean,
apologize.
Hasbin's is crazy. You got
That is
Ashley
wild.
Edwards, Linnea Bryan, Jay High. I mean, you've got Hushets out of Dallas. What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, I get it. He's from New Orleans, but I mean, he resides in Texas. So you want to be technical here, right? So I wouldn't say has-beens. I definitely think there's a lot of people in Texas for sure. I'm not gonna sit here and say Texas is has-beens at
That is
all.
reckless. Oh my
That's
God.
crazy. You jumped right in and said Texas is a has-been. That's
Yeah,
wild.
good grief.
Yeah. I just know that Texas has been around for a long time. No, there's a lot of talent out there, but there is a lot of talent in Florida as well. So I think it's hard to say one way or the other who's got more talent. Do you
I
think
don't
it's a
know.
format thing?
Definitely could be. I mean, you're thinking about. I mean, the two new women's players on the roster. You got one Florida, one Texas, and then men. You've got I think same thing, one Florida, one Texas. So I mean, yeah, it could obviously be a format thing. Gosh, I honestly don't watch a whole lot of the fours to know who would kind of dominate there. I mean, fives, that is tough. I mean, you have teams that assemble from all kinds of states, so it's really hard to say. I mean, you're looking at, Apex on the women's side. You got Texas, Colorado, Florida. Yeah, they're everywhere, right? So I think that's the cool thing about flag is that it brings so many different states together, right? So I think it's hard to say if it's a format thing or anything. I think it's really just a player thing, honestly.
Yeah, well, and then we got Izzy holding down the entire state of Ohio right now, right? That's a big deal.
Sure. Izzy owns Ohio. I don't.
Hear that, Ant?
That's facts. I don't disagree with that at all.
That
I do
is
not
one of the
disagree.
most unreal play. I'm so glad she's on Team USA. Like, I'm so glad she's not playing on another country. Let me just say that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So Jacob, you have questions before I keep going?
Yeah. So what was the breaking point for you to say, you're able to take what you're doing with photography and really incorporate it into flag? Like what was that moment where the kind of light bulb went off for you to say, this is what I want to do. This is how I can really tell the stories for folks.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. So to be honest, a lot of where I'm at and is kind of a credit to Madison Fulford. She was one of the first people that she needed a project done, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to work on this. If you have any ideas, and she has believed in any idea that I've had. I credit a lot of it to Apex Athletics here in San Antonio as well. A bunch of those players and Jaleel, the guy that runs Apex Athletics, has done nothing but believe in like everything that I was doing. So just kind of also having that personal like friendship with a lot of the players, right? Like to be able to tell a story. It's not just like the taking pictures of it, telling a story of, maybe you kind of know what they're going through that week, right? And then capturing something like a struggle that they're having, and then you get to capture them overcoming it, right? It's more than just like a picture. It's a time to like tell a story, or maybe there's somebody for example, I think Ashley Edwards didn't get a lot of love, and I feel like she is arguably one of the best corners, if not the best corner there in the game. Just so technical, so like watching her work out and things like that. So just being able to show some players like that a little bit more love, to kind of get their name out a little bit more, to be like, hey, there's this person, and she's kind of like the blueprint. A lot of people started watching her stuff, saving her videos, and things like that. So I mean, for me, it was really about not just like capturing that, but capturing like their stories and everything that they're doing, right, and trying to accomplish. Yeah,
definitely. Okay. What's some goals for you, that are coming up? What's some things that you're really looking to accomplish in the next probably year or so?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be honest with you, if I had like an ultimate goal, I would absolutely love to shoot at the Olympics. I think that would be such a cool thing. If we're looking short term, I'll be in China for the World Games.
Nice.
And then Panama for IFAF again as well. So just kind of anything like that. I would love to, if there was anybody that like kind of wanted to work on a story, right? Like a day in the life, or something like that, kind of where we could work up to, if this was a player that started now and was also in the Olympics as well. I think something like that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I would just say kind of goals in that way is however it looks, right?
Yeah,
like whether
definitely.
Shooting for, I've shot for, Flag Football Nation, the online magazine. I've shot for them before. Like I've shot for USA Football before. So however it looks, whatever way I can do it, even if it's just for a specific player, I think it would be an absolutely amazing experience.
Who would be celebrity person that you could do a shoot for? Who's that one person you want?
Oh man, celebrity person, like it can be anybody, like any celebrity.
Anybody. It could be Zach Galifianakis. It could be Ant. It could be. There's so many different celebrities to choose from.
Dude, man, I know this is tough. I honestly, the first person that came to my mind was Steph Curry, just because like I love
cool.
Steph Curry. It's just more of the underdog in the fact that no one really gave him a chance, right? And just kind of seeing like his mentality behind all of that, how he deals with that. So I would say definitely Steph. I would like to do something with him for sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, him or Kelsey Plum, to be honest. Kelsey Plum, like, and I was shooting the Sparks Seattle Storm game for one of the coaches not too long ago, and I was like, if I could just like ask her one question, right? Like, but someone like that who's come back from an injury, right, and just everything that they dealt with and things like that, and just being able to tell, because I mean, she came back and won a WNBA championship, so
that's big,
right? Something like that, I think would be really cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, for sure. So when you go to big tournaments, though, do you bring your cleats with you just in case you can jump on, play a little bit too?
Yeah, it's hard for me not to bring my cleats. 9 out of 10 times happen where it'll be like, and it'll end up being someone I know, right? Hey, we need one night. Are you playing? Like, no, or I really do love when like a co-ed, like a rec team picks me up or something like that, right? Where it's fun, right? It's all fun and games.
Right.
Get to head top a couple people, make it feel like I'm good, So
well, look, you're not gonna have the 8 a.m. experience happen again with going out there in your tennis shoes.
Yeah, so, exactly. I'm not gonna have that. I cannot have that. Cannot have that again.
No, that's awesome. So let me just backtrack, ask you about Steph Curry. Do you think that he changed the conversation with LeBron being the GOAT because of what he did in the same era?
I think it's just so different. To be honest, Kobe's my GOAT. So, like, I'm not going to say LeBron is a GOAT. I mean, it's probably controversial to say Kobe's my GOAT. So I would say they're just two very different players, right? It's a different style of play. So it's so hard to sit there. And I played basketball in college, right? So I coached for a while, obviously before this whole flag thing. So I think it's so hard just because it's like I said, it's a different, and I love the different styles of play, right? You've got LeBron who's going to go at you, and not to say Curry's not going to go at you. It's just a different kind of. I mean, he's going to get the crowd riled up. I mean, so will LeBron too at sometimes. So I think he definitely. I mean, he threw his name out there for sure. I mean, championships, everything like that. Obviously, you're putting action behind words and things like that, right? So I think with LeBron's stature and his body build, it's hard not for him to go be great, right? But with the fact that Curry's a little bit smaller and just everything that he has done to use, even like the fact that the way to get around people, right, versus just going straight at him. I mean, I definitely think that he brought his name into the mix. But I mean, if we're looking at numbers all around, right? I mean, LeBron's numbers all around are definitely better, right? So
he's been playing for 70 years, so
yeah.
He's not.
But there's no way for you. Nobody's gonna overtake Kobe. Essentially,
no.
Gotcha. Okay, so now to switch over to that question with flag football. Who is your GOAT in women's flag football?
Vanita Crouch.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, just like everything that she's done, everything that she's not only done for just, I mean, playing, like, how many times she's won, right? I mean, how many tournaments she's won, how many gold medals she's won. And just everything that she has done. I don't know how many tournaments, right? She's asked me to play in, or certain players to play in, where she's trying to develop the game, right? And that was my big thing about Kobe too, is that it's not just about everything that you're doing on the field, it's the things that you're doing for the game as well. And the amount of things that Vanita has done for the game, of just trying to develop and bring up anyone and everybody around her, I feel like that to me is what makes somebody a GOAT. Like, not just what you do, she's backed everything up. that she's done, but everything that she has done for the youth, for people like me who like, hey, I just want to get better, right? And the way that she explains, why she's doing what she's doing, it's just amazing. So I mean, I would say my GOAT women's flag football has got to be Vanita.
Okay, fair enough. Next question, completely off topic of flag football, is what is your go-to? You've got unlimited line of food trucks. What's your go-to? What do you want at a food truck? Your number one pick?
I am such a sucker for some good nachos. Like,
Okay.
like even at a concession, but like you get some like good, like, good meat on there, so some cheese that's like really solid, not just like the concession stand nachos, but like some homemade, right? Cheese, so something different. I don't know. It's gotta be some. Just a sucker for some good nachos, to be honest.
All right, so while we're talking about nacho cheese, let's go ahead and ask this. So, how do you when you're eating a Philly cheesesteak, do you eat Philly cheesesteaks?
To be honest, not really.
Oh my god. Okay, but you have eaten a Philly cheesesteak, right?
I've eaten one before. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So,
and I had to do it in Philadelphia. Like I had to.
Where did you go?
You know what? That was like 2 years ago, and I honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, it probably wasn't as bad as the place we went.
Okay.
Um,
it wasn't like awful, but it wasn't like the greatest. Like it wasn't
Right.
like I miss this Philly cheesesteak.
So let me ask this: do you believe that cream cheese belongs on a cheesesteak?
No.
Thank you.
No, absolutely not.
Let me just go to the scoreboard here. Scoreboard says Jakob 472 and 3.
Do you? But Kelly, do you know that there's a really good queso that you can make with cream cheese, also, right?
I mean, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
for your nachos.
What?
Well, honestly, to
Okay.
be honest with you, there's a dip that my mom makes that's like cream cheese and salsa, and you like blend. Man, that's fire. But I'm not saying it goes on a Philly cheesesteak.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Mate.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I want to give you the opportunity before we let you go, just to plug your brand and talk all about it, and tell us where you're headed next.
Oh man, I mean, really, I think my thing is it's not just like Switchback AT is not just like obviously photography, a little bit of videography, but really, I think what a good brand is just kind of just believing in like what we're doing, right? And my thing is I just want people to have their moments, right? Have their moments, have a memory of their moments. So that's always my biggest thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, what do you charge, or you're underselling yourself, or whatever it is, and I'm just like, my biggest thing is for people to have their moments, people to have, if they're trying to get a brand deal, let me help you, right? Let me help you get me a couple things from this brand and we'll call it good, right? So I think for me, what it is more of kind of believing in people that are really like trying to make something for themselves and trying to make magic happen from that. So, I mean, definitely whoever wants to work with me, however, if you have an idea, let me know. We'll see if we can make it come to life. Like I said, it's more than it's just pictures or anything like that. There's a lot of different things that come with the media world.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, I want to tell you I'm a huge fan. I love your work. I love all the different things that you do as far as like I don't even know what they're called, the things you've been doing, like double negatives or, where it's like two pictures on
Double
top of each other.
exposure, yeah.
Yeah,
So
double exposure. Yeah. And
the motion blurs, and it's crazy. To be honest, I always tell people, they're like, "How did you do this?" And I'm like, "I just be messing around with some camera settings, and it turns out, well, I can show you what I did. Play with it yourself, right?" And I think that's the coolest thing about being in the media world is there's always something to learn, and that's the one biggest piece of advice I can give to anyone in the media world. Do not act like you have it all together. Do not ever think that like I have learned something from someone who's been in the industry for 20 years, and I have learned something from someone who's been taking pictures for a month. I think that's the coolest thing about it is all the different things there are to learn. There's so much, right? There's so many different ideas. You have an idea, try to do it. If you fail at it, okay, you might get better the next time. And I think that's the thing is if you like it, post it. All you need is one person to like it. You don't need 1,000 people to like it. You just need one person. I think my boy JR with O Athletics said that best in one of his most recent videos that he put out. Like, you just need one person to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very
Agree with
true.
that.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. And just don't forget about the guys in the stripes. We do
Never.
some cool stuff on the field too. So
Yeah, you guys see my camera. Do something for it, and I'll always snag a picture of you guys.
cool. All right. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, you
Well, man, we went behind the scenes tonight, right?
A little bit. Yep. I like it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
You're angry? What's going on?
Not yet.
Speaking of maybe it's just preemptive going into the weekend, right? Is that what is gonna make you angry this weekend?
What am I angry about?
I don't know. You got the big draft tournament, Camel City.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm not angry about it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Why would I
You
be
said
angry
not
about
yet. Oh, okay. How do you feel like the draft went? Did it match up with your mock draft or?
So ironically enough, we didn't get a chance to opportunity to put out the mock drafts. We had just wrapped them up and got them trying to get everything looking good. Just kind of missed the buzzer. But ironically enough, the mock draft I put together wasn't as far off as I thought it was going to be. Usually I put something out and it's absolutely bananas. But this year I think I was closer than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
Couple surprise picks, couple folks that I thought would go earlier went later. Couple folks that I thought would go later went earlier. So it's always interesting to me to see. We have a handful of the guys who are typically captains and have done this before, and then we have a handful of guys who this is their first time, so we don't know what they're going to do. Whether they're going to play buddy ball and just draft the guys they know and try to stick to something comfortable and try to basically form the team that they usually play with, or are they going to go out of the box and draft people that they don't ever play with but want to have an opportunity to.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting to see.
No, for sure, and it's just there's a lot going on Saturday. There's prizes, right?
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
No,
was going to say, yeah, I can pull it out now. It's been posted. I wanted to make sure. So we got these sweet book bags for everybody. I know this is a great picture of it right here, but the straps
nice.
got the camel head. They got the big camel on the back side. It's got the shoe pouch, the front pouch, the water bottle pouch, the enclosed water bottle pouch. So we got those for our winners. We got some pretty sweet flags for our winners as well, flag sets. We got a first pick flag set, a last pick flag set. So we're pretty excited. We're gearing up. Actually, we got an MVP chain as well for the MVP of the tournament. Yep. So we're pretty excited. This is gonna be a pretty good tournament, I think.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then Clock's Running will be on site. We're gonna be going live for some games. Katura will be interviewing all kinds of people. I know Britt Bratt is bringing her cake jars and everything that she brings to the sideline. And
yep.
So I'm excited about it. Going to hit the road tomorrow morning. Anything else that people should know about this draft tournament? Or
it's one of a kind, man. I know there's a lot of other people who do drafts, but I don't think anybody does the draft like we do. So it's truly a vibe. It's a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Jerseys all look great. They came in. We'll be giving those out Saturday morning, first thing. But yeah, that's about it. We'll be updating as the day goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, finally, we were in Gatlinburg this last weekend. We went live for that. How do you feel like as a whole that tournament went? It was a youth tournament.
It was a lot of fun. It was Rocky Top Sports Parks or Sports World's first tournament, first youth flag tournament. They're usually a tackle organization. I mean, we saw it. They had fields for days. They had as many fields as they had mountains surrounding the park. But I think it went well. I think it was 45, 50 teams. Very hospitable, group. We had great officials. Your nose is proof of how it went, I think. But no, I think it was a really good tournament. Ran really smooth. We had a good time. I think. I don't think anything was over the top. But I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, I didn't have to throw any coaches out. Only threw a couple unsportsmanlike.
How do you feel about that?
No, I mean, that's a good thing, right?
For most people.
Yeah, I don't enjoy throwing people out.
That's just Dean enjoys throwing people
out. Yeah. Dean and Declan, I think, are the two that really enjoy throwing people out of games for sure.
Speaking of those two, we need a Dean's doozy. We haven't had one of those in a while.
That's true.
We need to get one of those on the show. That's next week's goal.
Yeah. So. Okay, well, cool, man. Well, the final thing that I just want to bring up, I want to hear your thoughts on it. I know I sent the clip to you, from ESPN, just bringing up the fact that, the United States men's team did lose to Canada over the weekend. Do you think that over the next 2 years, 2.5 years, that the performance on the field by the national team is going to have an effect on when or if NFL players will be on the team?
So, you ever heard the phrase, don't let sharks smell blood in the water?
Yeah.
I think this is a prime example of this. I feel like the men's national team, I feel like both national teams are going to be very heavily scrutinized for their performance from here on out. The second they lost, I mean, the Sharks all jumped on it, right? Pat McAfee jumped on it. There was a couple other places that brought attention to it, and it's the fact that we're used to the men's team just blowing everybody out by 40 points, and B, the expectation is that this is an American sport. Sure, it originated here, but I mean, this is a sport for everybody. So the gap is closing. While I still feel like the United States still has a pretty big gap, as far as the men's game, it is closing. Other countries are figuring things out. They're figuring out the nuances. They're figuring out what works for them and how to produce and be productive on the field. So I really feel like, they're gonna be the closer we get to the actual Olympics, the more the scrutiny is gonna be. If Panama is not just a bunch of blowouts, you might see some turnover. Look at the 2022 games. The women's team lost. That was their first loss in who knows how long. I don't have the number in front of me.
Since Avery was playing. She never lost to the United States.
Oh, I know. That's a fun fact for her. She loves to say that. But just to bring that up, there was a lot of turnover there.
Yeah.
From the top down. So I think that's something that who knows what happens next. I think Panama has to go really well. They are going to the World Games in China, right? It's the men's team or is it the women's team?
Just the women's team is going to the World Games.
Yeah. So the men's team is only going to Panama. If Panama is not,
men's and women's go to Panama.
Both go to Panama. Just women go to China. Got it.
Yep, you got it.
Okay. They're going to be very heavily scrutinized. I don't wish any ill will on anybody, but I mean, your performance matters right now. There was a quote I saw from USA Football. Somebody posted something or was quoted saying, the nice thing about what they do is they don't put names on the back of the jerseys during trials. It's just numbers. That way they can identify people. they're not looking at anybody's name. They're saying that the NFL players are going to incorporate into or integrate into the flag players during the trials. So, the downside is that spots that other potential flag players could have had. The upside is they're going to be evaluated just the same. So, the intangibles, the 40, the shuttle run, all that garbage, I'm sure they'll blow that out of the water, as they should.
Yeah.
It's going to be what happens on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and Trav brought it up. The schemes, the bunch formation. I've always thought that the red zone is what could differentiate flag players from NFL players, because it is so hard in flag football for a defense to stop any offense in the bunch formation within 3 yards of the goal line. Like,
That's true.
Barely anything you do. So what could an NFL, a heavy NFL defense do outside of making a lot of contact, which, is just going to draw penalty flags? What could they do to stop that offense?
Yep.
So the other interesting thing is this past weekend, Africa had their first Continentals.
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria won both the men's and the women's.
Yep.
So it just makes me wonder, though. We do know for sure it's only 6 teams on both men's and women's in the Olympics, right? We've heard, yeah. So
well, no, I thought it was 8. Is it 6 or 8?
I think it's only 6.
That's a dumb number. That's not even. It's even, but it's not even.
Yeah. So regardless of whether it's 6 or 8, how do you like? I do not envy the committee that's going to decide who gets picked, because if you go by continent, then that gets the entire world involved. But does that get the talent that's going to bring in really the attention, the good games, make it where it's not just all blowouts? What do you think? Like, how are they going to come up with that?
I think you have to go by the continental games, right? So just because and what I think could happen is you have more teams traveling to more places. So yeah, Nigeria just won the men's and women's, the continentals in Africa. That's great. If a African continental gets you a bid to the Olympics, you could see everybody running over there. If the European continentals gives you a bid, everybody could run there. Same thing for Asia, the Pan Pacific games or whatever. I think that's what it was last year. If they do all these different games, and they have all these continentals, and those are the golden ticket basically to the, I'm not saying teams are going to run away from the United States or if there's an American continentals, but you would see more teams in my mind go outside of those realms to go play and try to win. I could see Mexico going to Africa and cleaning house. Then again, I don't know what those teams really look like, so I couldn't say for certain. It'd be hard to. As my dad says, it's hard to say not knowing. So,
well, and I know Finland last year had like 32 teams or something like that, and they've already said since then we're cutting that number down a lot. They've come up with some sort of like strength of schedule kind of thing. So teams that participate in the America Continentals kind of get more weight. So, for example, Panama, who's a country that has not won, they are in that kind of qualifying number, where so maybe 4 teams will come from the Americas, but only 1 team would come from Africa, and then who knows? Maybe they just decide that the IFAF championship, the top 6 teams from that go right into the Olympics. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see for sure. One final topic to bring up. It's been a hot topic lately as far as what's the call. We've gotten lots of videos sent in. Jumping. All right. So internationally, jumping is not legal. Okay. You can get a jumping penalty. But we have started to get a lot of videos sent in of players jumping as an offensive player, jumping into a defensive player.
Okay.
And a lot of those offensive players are getting hurt by doing that. I just want to clear some things up, Jacob. So, first and foremost, do you think that long-term jumping is going to continue to stay in flag football?
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the game. If I can jump, or it's an evasive maneuver, right? It's people put it into it. They play the safety card of it, but ultimately, you know what you're doing. You know what your body's capable of and what it's not capable of. I think it'll stay around. I don't think it'll for USA flag. I don't see any reason for it to go away.
Okay. Now, for USA flag, what is it? What is the kind of stipulation as far as jumping goes?
You just can't jump into the defenders. You can't jump directly into a defender. That's the rule.
Okay. And so when that happens, does that then open up the door that the defender can literally do whatever they want to that ball carrier?
No, no. As a
Oh,
defender, what?
so they don't give themselves up.
I thought we went over this in season 1. There's a clip somewhere back there for that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I know that's still a common phrase. Give yourself up, let them play. Ant's a bad ref. A lot of these are common phrases that are used, and they're just not true. So, no, you don't give yourself up. What changes though is the area where your flag is pulled, and actually, in my mind, it opens up when you jump. A person, you're the typical. I call it a strike zone because I think of baseball, where you're typically looking from the person's kneecap up to their hip, maybe a little bit higher, where the numbers would be on a baseball jersey. Is kind of where I try to say, like, that's where you can reach to pull a flag. That's where you can make an attempt. When you jump, you're changing where that goes. So in my mind, that actually opens up more. I know you didn't. My hands on the screen didn't only allow it so much, but it does. It opens up more to where you can attempt to pull a flag and what I'm going to let be legal. I don't think it gives yourself up. The same applies for dipping. When you drop yourself down, that opens up where you would typically, your shoulder is tipping now where your hip would normally be. So I'm going to give a little bit of grace there. I think that's the difference. Using the term "give yourself up." That's basically saying I'm just going to come through and just pile drive, and that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
You can't just clean somebody's clock because they jump or dip.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I just want to clear it up. It still seems like every time a jumping video or a charging video or a dipping video comes up, immediately players are like, just like you said, there's those catchphrases, give yourself up. This is contact. He's got the flag in his hand, like all those kind of things. It still means that you gotta look out for player safety ultimately at the end of the day. And as officials, that's what we got to look out for. So I do know that contact brings on kind of some extra stuff, but you still don't want to nobody is doing this 24/7, especially in the contact world. There is not a U.S. men's national contact team, so everybody has to work. Everybody has to work on Monday, So don't go so crazy.
Right.
If you're really angry, go to one of those what are those rooms where you can break stuff?
A smash room.
Yeah, go to a smash room. go to one of those places. Yeah, if you really got some anger issues.
Hey, we got some love from the Cayman Islands. Hey, Cayman Islands friends, family. It's not Dean. It's somebody on their main page. So
you don't think that he runs that page?
No, they're not letting him do that. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
knucklehead.
No, we have had a lot of people on Instagram tonight. I've been noticing. I appreciate both of our guests tonight, Trav and Kelly, for just kind of taking us behind the scenes whether it's above the games with Trav, you see that plug there, or flicks by KT Kelli. She's doing an amazing things on the sideline. She takes great sports photography pictures, and so I appreciate both of what they do for the game. I think ultimately, both of them that they are providing an opportunity for the game to grow, for more people to find out about the game. People love seeing the videos and pictures that all come on social media, and they're part of that work engine, that workshop.
Keep going.
I don't know.
I'm not going to stop you. Keep going.
Yeah. Anyway, so that being said, I think that I got my W Fresh Tiger Blood. Shout out to not W Fresh. An old bull like me would know Dougie Fresh. Do you know who Dougie Fresh is? The rapper?
Yes. I'm not that young.
Okay. Anyway, W Energy. They got great pre-workout. I got them right now. Tiger's Blood. So check it out. We do have a 10% promo code that we can share exclusive to Fox Runnin viewers and followers of us. We're closing in on 4,500 followers on Instagram. So we just continue to hit that share button. We appreciate everyone that follows us, and we will be live for sure this Saturday in the Camel City, the SEC of contact flag football, the best of the best with their draft tournament. So I'm excited for that. Jacob, I appreciate all that you do for the show, and I just I love you, man. You're great. So that being said, we'll see you Saturday. Have a good night.
All right. See you guys.